want to start it any other way. Playing path as fair as can be as these boys take to the battlefield for the first time in this tournament. This, for those of you guys tuning in just now, is the first of 3 group stage days that are going to be absolutely insane. Top 16 of the groups will go straight through to the grand finals. So it's pretty clear, make top 16 or you are out.
There's not many chances, only 12 games. You realistically have 1, maybe 2 disasters that you can go through before things are starting to look grim, especially again with the level of play, the amount of points I'm sure some of these top teams are going to be accumulating will be difficult if you're on the bottom.
Yeah, definitely will be. We see the drops here again. As the desk talked about earlier, not usual that we see too much hot dropping going on Erangel. This is the tried and tested map, and therefore usually commotion ain't to be seen here in the very early stage of the game. Having said that, there does tend to be teams fighting over vehicles. I'm looking down towards New Happy and Cerberus, who are right next to one another, but it seems like they're both going to back off, and it is going to be Cerberus to claim a vehicle early on.
Yeah, just stretching near that crossroads to try to find a vehicle, as you said, but rotations also, I mean, when you have group stages like this and you have events where it's a mix and mash kind of situation, oh, that's an interesting circle. You gotta love that if you're Falcons, but if you have a situation like that, rotations aren't necessarily always going to be the same. You may run into a team in a spot that you normally use to scout, kind of you're static, and all of a sudden you're in a fight that you're not expecting, and that can be very stressful, especially when you're kicking off the first game, Toby.
Yep, exactly. Well, we see here, East is where we're headed. Plenty of space to maneuver for teams that are, again, I mean, with a pretty fair playing path, scattered pretty nice, spread out nicely across the map. There's easy transition rounds over the north of the map. You could even go down over military should you really want to try and play it safe and rotate in. Should you be New Happy, maybe Day Trade as well, as they start grouping up and making their way further east. Curious to see off of here how Tianba is going to rotate here early on. They're starting out in Georgia Pole, committed South George. They have a split, a couple of guys north as well. Of course, they know that it's all up for taking, so might as well just link it. But curious to see how they're going to play. They like to play center positions, take control. Pow, phenomenal fragger. And now with the addition of CC, former New Happy player as well. Very curious to see how aggressive they're going to start things off.
And they have options for their rotations, right? They can go north. Generally, you would look at a circle like this and imagine that the southern rotation would be rather stacked, especially with all the teams looting down there by farm, as well as New Happy just on the coast there, right on that west bridge. But they could potentially come in late. But as you said, the problem with that is Tianba is very much a central team.
Definitely, yeah. James growing a bigger beard since last time I saw him. As we take a look at Vex on camera, James on screen, shadow punching again. It's the first game these guys are playing on stage. Got to get the clicks in. Got to make sure the mouse and the keyboard is positioned exactly as you want it. Warm up those hands, James. You know you're going to be needing them as this tournament goes on.
And what a stage that is, Toby.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the coolest stages. The desk has the coolest desk I think I've ever seen. Those boys killed it as well. So, yeah, the setup here at EWC, no surprise, is world class.
Exactly. As we look at all these different teams looting up, you know what? Kudos to 17. They won Pochinki. It took them like 4 years, but you know what? They claimed it. It's theirs for the keeping. We'll see how long it stays that way, but at least for now, 17 will get plenty of time to rotate on out. I'm not expecting there to be too much commotion. Having said that, Twisted Minds, especially in circles like these that go east, does actually tend to try and set up trap plays in and around the east side of Potato Hill. So maybe we'll see Twisted come up with a sneaky play like that again.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that before, as you stated, and specifically with the way that this circle has kind of positioned itself, there should at least be 1 or 2 rotations that they might be able to catch, maybe pick off a player.
Yeah.
As I'm also looking now at the Expendables just right above FaZe, just hanging around that Milta area, and Falcons as well. They're going to find themselves in a very nice position. They originally had a little bit of a split there with the loot, with Lipovka, but now they're settled in, and again, they should also be able to dictate some rotations.
I like Falcons not splitting out too wide here early on. Again, it's the first game. You want to come off this game, look through, okay, do we actually have more space than this? Rather play too close than lose a guy early in the first match of the tournament. Play close, play smart, and don't take too many chances right off the bat.
But that's always the problem, right? When you're given center circle in circle 1, it's you have so many decisions to make.
Yes.
Do we actually go for that split? Is this risky? Do we have the opportunity to take maybe high ground and low ground? Can we support the other split from this position? So it becomes a game of very difficult decisions to play there as Flood really didn't like that door, but he will be getting on top of that prio building there.
Yeah, the tallest guy. Gotta break it in half sometimes to see if he can use folding. Does so successfully as Twisted Minds, we talked about them just before, setting up a bit of a 3-1 split towards the east side of Potato Hill. Expendables have seen them though, but they too are in a 2-2 split. So Cloris just trying to get some info right now, wanting to I mean, preferably get a knock to know exactly who's around them, but also just, you know, pop some tires, scare them off. 17, you can see looking towards the north. They have Cerberus just on the other side, though. This could be the first fight.
Cerberus is going to be right there on death row, taking some shots, and fortunately for 17, no damage, or really significant damage has gone through here as Haisaki now moving to maybe get an angle. One of the members that had to stop.
I was going to say, they're running straight down the middle here, and even if they do get away from Twisted and Cerberus, they have Expendables just on the other side, facing a split to contain them as well. 17 thought they were going to have space out east, but not to be. Example will find the first knock and elimination of this tournament, as we see if at least the remaining 17 players can get out alive.
I can tell you that doesn't feel good to be the first one to go down, but still 3 members in 17 have done a lot more with a lot less, and so now Suju and Xiao Bei will continue to rotate past Shelter, which is occupied by the Expendables. They also have a nice little split, actually. I like the way they're set up on this, James. Very nice, and they're going to find both members there who rotate past.
Tanbu gets himself the double, and just like that, 17, again, the winners of PGS 1, struggle bus early on. Xiao Bei, solo player, left alive. There might be a shack for him to hide in, but outside of that, really, I mean, there you go. A wizard is what he's given, and obviously FaZe would have hurt the vehicles up above. Question is now, does FaZe mind sharing this space with him? They are in a wide split still, so honestly, for now, leave Xiao Bei there. He's not going to be too dangerous to have around, I think.
Yep, that is the fortunate situation here for Xiao Bei. Even though he's lost 3 of his teammates, FaZe is split, and so the likelihood of them pushing that wizard tower, especially this early, is very low, and so he will survive for the time being. As now we see Twisted starting to make their rotations, or at least just a little bit of a readjustment there into a very nice dip on the side of that road there.
Yep, he's trying to set up, get some more info. Again, look further east. I don't think, I mean, Twisted Minds aren't necessarily in a position right now where they're looking to bomb at center. They don't want to steal center territory, but from here, Lou should be able to scout, potentially, that the Hall of Fame or Museum, whichever you want to call it, is free. Could give that info across to your teammates. Alamo behind it is actually free as well. The issue is, Salute has been sneaking in this direction for a while, and I don't think Lou has any clue whatsoever that he stood just on the other side. If he stands still for too long, I was just going to say that Dragunov is going to hurt, and here it does as well.
That gun is so devastating, and sure enough, Lou will fall. Not quite sure, though, Salute will be able to get that flush.
You shouldn't try that.
Yeah, it's going to be a dangerous one, but at the very least, Twisted now knows.
I mean, everyone knows where they are in the vicinity. They heard the shots, they saw the kill feed, they know who shot, they know who take him down. And now towards the north we go as Tianba struggling to kind of avoid Valatai. They were driving side by side for a while, and now finally the pull-up comes through. Latai trying to go for the shot down to low HP, and he's going to fall to CC.
He was desperately trying to make that work, but CC, you could see him in the camera, communication abound. He was definitely making sure the rest of his team was coming around for that one, and so they will pick up that kill. Very nice. And as we kind of thought, I said they probably are going to go for the north side rotation here, and sure enough they have. But Gaming Gladiators now, Dante looking for an opportunity, maybe a knock, maybe a tire. He'll get nothing.
He's trying to kind of sheep or hurt them straight towards his teammates, though. See if he can set up anything here. Levante is further forward with a potential chance of getting something in the meantime. Haisaki will find Norrens. That's happening off screen down towards the south of where we were just before, but seems like Tianba will be able to survive this otherwise potential Gaming Gladiators gatekeep.
Looking in the map as well, towards this north side, you also have 4EM already set up, as well as Danawal, as you said, just to the west side of Lipovka on that hill, and that's going to be a very strong position, especially in Circle 1, due to the rotations that it does enable. And deny, specifically in that position. So that's going to be right above the Falcons, and looks like the Freaks have actually decided to just hit Alamo.
Definitely has.
At least 2 of them, so they are going for a split here, and that's not a bad decision.
Not at all.
If it does tend to center there, you're not getting out of Alamo, but getting in is also very difficult in the end game.
I mean, they came in from the west, they were spread out wide, they get the knock onto Lou, who has now gotten back on his feet, but off of the knock coming through and no one responding, they'll go, wait, either everyone is playing super scared, or there's no one
No one
here
there.
to contest
Yeah.
us. So he gets the knock. His teammates are sat further up towards the north. They look down towards the building. There's no response. There's no one getting out the buildings to try and see if they can get a flush. This should be ours. And not only is it theirs, but they've just claimed it with the circle, hopping straight towards it.
It's a difficult decision, though, for the Freaks. Do you actually maintain this split? It will be a challenge to hold that, especially with the teams coming around realizing that Wizard or Alamo is a strong position. As Sonic's now starting to make their move, they're going to be all the way on the west side of this circle, just near Snake Compound.
And this is where the new Cerberus lineup could potentially get into a bit of trouble. In a 2-2 split, that's where you want your Tycon Him-as combo.
Exactly.
Set them on each their side, they can be your main fraggers. Now it's a Dogmai Haisaki split up on the hillsides. I'm not sure the firepower is there to contain or sway off Sonics as they make their way in that direction.
Looks like they're actually going, just straight towards Death Road there in the eyes of Cerberus. As we're now watching the rest of this rotation, Tiamba has decided to re-evaluate, and they're actually going to go back north as Day Trade in a little bit of trouble. Himas is going to find Belmoth, and that's going to be a flush.
It's Cerberus again. I mean, taking out yet another player from Day Trade. You can see Day Trade before trying to make their way north, but they were shut down on approach. Then they go, great, the circle swung north. They must have left by now, but nope, not to be. They find yet another. So Day Trade down to just 2. They're still inside the circle, but would depend on a massive southern shift in order to stay there.
I do like the reposition, though, we were just speaking about on Tiamba. The fact that they didn't commit to that east side. They know that the north at this point should be somewhat empty. They can readjust and then find a better point of entry into that circle. They will potentially have to contend with the Gladiators, but for now, it's a good decision.
Hike through open fields always has me a little bit worried, but Agent gets to safety on the other side. The vehicle won't quite get there, but you know what? I think they're fine. 4 guys in Alamo. What more would you want?
4 angry guys.
4 angry mans in Alamo trying to sit tight and hope that more circles swing their way, because I'm not sure those tires are longing for this world.
No, and that's the problem when you commit early, right, to Alamo or positions like that. It's just that. I mean, you once you commit to that, you're stuck there, because especially if other players or other teams see that you're there, they're going to take out every available tire and make sure that you are stranded. And getting out of there is almost a death wish.
Yeah, and now for the most part, everyone has gotten into the positions they wanted to. Tiamba's still trying to figure out where they want to go, and as we mentioned the name, actually taking a fight towards the north. CC is going to fight Levante. He was in a bit of an off position. Game of Gladiators were in a 3-1 split, 3 in heaven, 1 kind of holding, scouting towards the north. But when all of Tiamba comes rocking up on you, even if you're Levante, it's a bit much to try and take out that entire Chinese team on your own.
That's what I was worried about, though, with that rotation readjustment there, that they were going to run into Gladiators, and sure enough, they, as you said, found Levante, and so now with 3 members, they still should be able to hold heaven here, but it's going to be a hell of a lot harder, especially on the north side.
I think, also just to stay on Gaming Gladiators for a second, I think they're a team that not a lot of people expected to make it here, so kudos to them for finishing out in the top. Curious to see how they're going to fare here, if they are going to be able to perform against, again, I mean, as we said earlier, arguably one of the most stacked global lobbies we've ever had.
But you still have to give them credit. I mean...
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's just being in a position right now, especially where they are in heaven, the fact that, yes, they lost one. I mean, they showed true grit when it came through to the qualifiers. So I imagine, you know, once they kind of shake off the initial game jitters, if they even have that, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with in this lobby, which is, once again, just out of control.
A lot of open space in these coming circles. Where will this one take a center once more? 4 AM happy with this one. As we saw earlier, they committed all 4 to that Alamo position. New happy now for the first time, really making their way inside this circle. Scouting in from the south side. They saw the 2 from FaZe leave just before you see them here. Gustav and I believe that to be correct, C, trying to make their way to shelter. They will get there successfully, but that vehicle probably isn't due for another rotation.
At least for the time being, a little bit of a tenuous relationship here between the Expendables, as they're not going to be necessarily pushing down or over the hill, so FaZe will be safe, as now Sonics, who have been just stuck on the edge for the most part, are going to be rotating in towards new compound here. Let's see what they can do, as they're going to have multiple teams to contend with. Mainly the one I'm thinking about, if they don't go further north, is going to be Twisted.
Yeah, a lot of teams are trying to find their way on in, but it kind of goes to show this lobby, a lot of edge teams, and this time yet another case of just that. Tiamba trying to take the fight to Gaming Gladiators. They should be aware that it is them. They just took out one of the players, but if they aren't, and they get a knock, and they now know, great, we're in a 4v2, we took out one just before, that should be a full commit push right off the bat.
Exactly, especially since Heaven is just now on the edge, and they should at least be able to see what their next play would be if they can get rid of Gladiators, but doing a good job of setting up some smokes as well as some utility there.
I like
nice
Linshu
damage.
playing. I mean, this is a very, very nice split screen. Linshu up on the north. You can see now the flank around the side trying to get some off-angle positions.
Problem, yeah.
Really, really nice playing, but they got to keep in mind there are players towards the east. Danawa is still maintaining a very wide 2-2 split, and the reason we are seeing so many teams on the edge here is because there's nothing to come for in the middle, but as I say that, CC finds Pin.
Beautiful knock, maybe time to bring Linshu back down into the fold here. Is in the distance we see actually CC getting knocked by Deal.
Yep, Deal.
It's going to be a huge knock, and it opens a big window for the Gladiators.
Definitely it does. They were down to just 2, but they say thank you to Danawa over towards the east. Pow Pow now down to low HP as well. Linshu is caught in the open. He's going to have to try and back off, and Gaming Gladiators might just stay alive because of the knock that we just saw from the, I guess, new star in Deal and Danawa.
An absolute bone thrown to the Gladiators now as they're trying to finish this off. Rocks on the top of that roof. He's going to find another knock. It's just down to Pow Pow.
Yep. Well, I mean, if there's a player to do it, Pow Pow has done it time and time again. And Danawa, you know what? They got the knock. They like what they saw, and they want to get points off of it. The thing is, they still have Hikari all the way down towards the south. They've left Deal behind, so they're only rocking up here with 2 players. Could be dangerous not to commit the full team, but I also respect the fact that they don't want to overcommit.
Yeah, Dante really is kind of stranded, maybe going for Pin as the play here. But as you said, Danawa and Inonix with the perfect killer instinct now, realizing that this fight is between 2 fractured teams.
Yeah. Phase 3, closing into Phase 4. For those of you guys who don't know, Phase 4, once we hit that, if you get knocked out there and you don't have a jammer pack, there's no point in going for the rest, because that could be issues, and now even more issues. This was their backstop. Hikari really had one task here. Do not get knocked. You're alone, my friend. We can't get to you. And just like that, Danawa down to 3, and that might make them think better of this next play as the circle swings south.
Yeah, as you said, the problem now is that they're fighting for space that's not even in, and so I think this is the play they absolutely should pull off, and they do indeed. And meanwhile, it's going to be GG versus Tiamba just trying to salvage this fight, but this needs to happen just as fast.
Yep, indeed it does. They're out in the blue. Rocks trying to get one, will succeed in finding the knock on Linshu. Pow Pow instantly there with the trade finds Dante. They're all down to low HP. You can see how the blue is tanking them now. Pow Pow wants to get up on the roof, but obviously don't want to overexpose himself as he puts up his last first aid. Haisaki
what
with
happened?
the what?
What were you saying about Haisaki not being able to hold that firepower?
That's a quadruple. I'm not sure what happened. I'm sure we'll get that in a replay at some point, as fights are now happening down towards Shelter as well. Rocks looking forward. Pow Pow on the roof. We're sticking with this fight for a little while longer. You can see they're trying to get the angles, but the bit of balcony is helping Pow Pow, at least for now.
No, but again, props to Gladiators for getting 3 members back up at the very least. Rocks now healing. Again, this is starting to become very troublesome, though.
How do you leave here, though? I mean, they should have the vehicles
Where do you
downstairs.
go? The problem isn't even how do you leave, but where do you even go?
Exactly, and I think that's part of the reason why they're staying with this fight. They know there are points to be claimed here. They can't be guaranteed there are points to be claimed if they leave. Pin is going to be found. Sonics again playing it slow. They've stayed on the western side of these circles for a while, and they too see the Brutes teams up north, and now they want a piece of it. Pow Pow will fall. Rocks will go down to the blue immediately after, and I do not think that Gaming Gladiators will survive much longer in this match.
Especially because there's a UAZ, I'm pretty sure, blocking that path for them to go up. But this is, I mean, Shelter is an absolute mess. Aside from FaZe, obviously Twisted Minds as well, stuck down there.
He could run over by the exploded vehicle. Should be able to get rest, though, as Sonics now, I mean, they have run the full circle, full 360. They came in from one side, swung all the way over to the other. Valentine will fall, but here comes Sonic straight into the open arms of Daytrade.
This is a big opportunity. Flash still alive somehow, but he will go down. Kickstart, readjusting to get that heal, and Sonics actually take this fairly clean.
And they have to keep running. They have to keep maneuvering further forward, but they're running straight up towards Falcons. Danawa now flexing out behind them. Sonics in a very tricky sandwich, and they have to commit to prison proper. Get up on those walls, see if you can grant just some sort of cover, because they know that staying out there in the open, I mean, that would be them dead.
Well, the other issue here for Sonics is even if they do secure this position, they still have to worry about the teams coming off the high ground, which very much have open angles on them. And meanwhile, again, this Shelter fight has been a mess. The Expendables, FaZe, Twisted, Valley Tide was here earlier as well.
See example, chilling down below, holding angles, trying to see if they can get out of this Shelter position as the only team in the area. But of course, right now, ain't exactly easy. Xiao Bei has been a solo player for a while, and Dogmai will end his days. That's 17 out and 12.
He tried, he did his best, but Circle was not favorable for the solo player. There is another shift, and now this is going to be an issue for multiple teams because the center of the circle is very open, Toby.
We have 5 players of the remaining 37 inside the next circle, and that's for a good reason. There really is not a whole lot to play. As long as the compounds up north are being utilized, you cannot play anything towards the south. Sonics does fight the knock onto Anonix. Don't think they can make a push off of it, as they're still being pinned by the remaining Falcons players.
Yeah, they still need to go in. They're going to have a little bit of cover, but again, that high ground of the south side there is going to be such an issue, especially with Na'Vi already set up there. And you even have Falcons now trying to figure out how to get out, because they're going to have to get out in behind Sonics.
Exactly, and you see now, I mean, Roth is doing everything he can, feeding info across to his teams off of what he sees, off of what he hears, but he too has to get out of here at some point. He knows Na'Vi is set above him. But with the remaining teammates inside the circle, they cannot risk trying to go out and play Saving Private Roth. They need to focus on what's inside the circle and to go, Roth, you're a boy, but you're on your own, mate.
You're a boy, but you're going to have to become a man right now, because he's going to have to play this one solo. I mean, there's something for him to play in that little bowl, but it's so open to Na'Vi on that south side as 4 AM now starting to come in. The north side of this circle is about to become very, very congested, as this is a good hill to stop on for now. It's not quite in, though, but Loki as well, the solo player from Danawa, is going to find at least a knock and most likely a flush here.
Every single point you can garner here. You want to finish top 16. He gets the knock, can't quite get the flush out. Pian is there to do damage in return. I'm not sure they're going to get or have time to get HS up, though, as now Freaks start pushing on forward.
And the Freaks have been doing very well to actually keep all 4 members alive. Of course, as I say that, Snakers will find the knock onto Salute, but they still have to make this push forward. They have to get rid of these members of 4 AM just to be able to find a foothold into the next circle.
This might just be Sonic's exit ticket. They see the finally get back in those cars, make your way up north into the open fields. It's always not favorable for long, but 4 AM down and out, that's confirmed. They see Quantum Freaks, 2 players knocked in the kill feed. I'm worried that all their tires were popped, because if nothing, I would have thought they would have definitely tried to go up north, tried to get out of this tricky prison position.
It's a much more favorable rotation than going straight into the Falcons, but yeah, I think you might be right. I don't believe they have the vehicles necessary to make this.
They are on cast now. We, of course, can keep track of that on the map feed. I strongly encourage all of you to have the map stream open, as well as you watch this game, whether it be on a second monitor, on another browser. Always have both those streams up so you can keep track of everything going on.
Still the Expendables coming out of Hall of Fame, as you said, just doing a very good job. 4 kills already, kind of stunting this push here from the Freaks, as Heaven now trying to heal, just still barely not in. This is not in.
Nope, not at all. And they have to make their way further forward, but
that's a rough dossier.
It's seen better days. Let's put it at that. Expendables up to 5 eliminations, 5 kills already, as they try to garner themselves some more. Duck Shoes holding the ankle here. I mean, for FaZe, how the hell do you get out of here? I'm not quite sure.
You just might not be able to.
You flash and run.
Yeah, even if they get to the entrance of that, I think that RB, especially if Exploded, will block that, as Hakatori with a huge nade will find Kickstart to start the fight off here between these two.
Massive. They want to contain them. They want to keep them down below, preferably force them into Falcons. Always try and keep opponents at a distance. Now, though, with Soset falling, that's dangerous. The Dragonov at this range is a one-shot to the head, and you're down. So, dangerous to overpeak now that they know the Dragonov is in the hand of the Strimsky, I believe it was.
At the very least, Sonics do have a little bit of time. They bought themselves some time with that knock onto Soset, and so they will be able to recover, but they still have to fight up this hill. Hakatori doing an amazing job at being a thorn here in the side of the Sonics, continuing to reposition on that high ground and just harassing them.
Well, Sonics running out of smokes, I believe. They are starting to go over to the smoke grenade launchers. Instead, H-Win just 1 smoke left to work with. They want to say, they hope to stall for long enough that Na'Vi has to look elsewhere. And I think it's actually worked out for them. Na'Vi opting to go back towards the north now. They didn't get what they wanted. They got the first knock, sure, but they had to back off. But now this fight that we've been waiting for forever finally pops off. Vex finds one, James finds the other. Cloris left alone down the other hillside alongside Delrin, trying to stay put, but nothing they can do to help their teammates.
Well, you ask how FaZe was going to do it, and it seems like brute force was the answer there, Toby. They came right up on this entrance, and they got the knocks they needed. They should be able to recover Fex, as well as the Sonics now making their push on the Falcons, who it looked like were trying to look for another position to play, maybe on the outside of that hill towards the dip, but it's just that ridge is not good enough.
I do like the play from Sonics here, though. Instead of smoking themselves off, they're throwing all the smokes down the hillside towards their opponents.
Smart.
Block their vision, not your own. That way you can maneuver further forward. The issue is they still haven't dealt with Na'Vi, and they're looking over this hillside now as well. Take down to low HP Shrimsy. Solo player trying to make a run forward.
Utility flying in those smokes, trying to find Shrimsy or any of the players from the Sonics trying to flee away from Na'Vi, but it looks like the Expendables just getting rid of FaZe. Off in the distance, Relo now in a little bit of trouble. Flood with a double.
Solid double coming through from Flood, looking to try and see if he can at least confirm the points here before Kickstart peeks on forward again. This is the issue. Kick has to constantly be aware, concerned with Na'Vi on the other side while trying to actively take a fight forward. And see jitters a bit on the tree there, but still, I mean,
Flood with 5 already.
Yeah,
what a
solid.
game for him to start off this event.
Very, very impressive performances now. Twisted Minds trying to make their way on out. Cerberus trying to fend off.
Oh, no way.
Example with the double as he runs on out. Sololsi trying to get him down in return, but the damage is already done. Solo player now left alive.
And what a try, but they somewhat cripple Cerberus now. As you said, just Sololsi left alive. Na'Vi now making their play, holding that south side for so long, and he'll go down.
Finally down he goes. 4 teams left alive. Na'Vi with the potential to get back up to 4 alive. Falcons lost Wrath earlier, so they're down to 3. Expendables bruised, but with plenty of kills so far in this game. And then Sonics, Kickstart, doing everything he can to stay alive as Cloris now falls to Diffix.
And so far, Na'Vi have seen just absolutely unstoppable. As I say that, Delwyn will find the spray, the last member up for the Expendables.
It's a 4x at a distance. Solid shots coming through as he goes for the second. Can't connect first time. Hagatori now, though, knows exactly where they have him. They have 2 players down. So Delwyn, can you make a play now? Soset fallen. Now they're 3, but you still got to get Cloris, and it's not going to happen.
It was a nice try, but as you saw, every reposition he tried to take was in line of sight of Na'Vi, so Diffix will be picked up here.
Has Falcons lost Kick? Okay, no, now they're looking back towards the right side. I was going to say he's down towards the wizard that they were at before, but I think what happens here is Falcons, here's the fight on the other side. They go, great, they're going to deal with everything on the west. Thank you, Na'Vi. In the meantime, let's play the circle. Let's fall back, allow Kick into this position. If he wants to leave this house, I mean, sure, he'll get a placement point extra for staying alive, but there's no way he's getting out.
Well, the fortunate thing as well here for Falcons, if they can get rid of Kick quickly, is that Na'Vi has now fallen to it.
Reload!
Oh, this is bad, though. That's going to be a flush.
They did lose track of him. He falls down, but this could be game for Na'Vi if they can't get Red rest in time. Snakers Flood alone against the 3-man strong Na'Vi.
That was a huge backstab from Kickstart, opening up the floodgates here for Na'Vi to, as you said, take that position. And now they're starting to try to close this up. In a 3v2, this is, you'd imagine, in Na'Vi's favor, but I mean, 1 knock could completely change that.
You say that, and they have 5 smokes to work with, but they're not inside the circle yet. They have to maneuver further down. Of course, they do get to play a little bit up on this top hillside, but smokes are going to be very needed for them to maintain cover, as those back trees there won't be inside this next circle 30 seconds from now.
Flood's only job is to stay up. He has to stay up here to make sure that Snakers maybe gets an opportunity, but the problem is all 3 members of Na'Vi know exactly where one of the Falcons are.
Yeah, in all fairness, I mean, had Flood had more ammo, he'd be spraying with both his guns.
Of course.
He needs to bait so much attention. He needs to set up a play for Snakers to do what his name sets up the best, really. Here they go. This is the bait he wants, and he has to pass the mouse in the car. Goes for
Oh, my goodness!
1 second vehicle comes around the side. Diffix able to take him down, but dies to blue, and just like that, it's a 1v1. Fairest versus Snakers.
I said 1 knock could absolutely change this, and so it does, but it's 2. It's just Snakers now.
But does he know where he is? Yes, he sees him. He spots his speed, sees him on the other side. 2 hits connected. Down to 1.5 HP as he's forced to push forward. Now, Nate's in head. Wants to get the kill. He knows exactly what tree Fairest is positioned at.
This nade could be everything. Oh, it's not quite, though. A little short. He is pushing
one.
Fairest off that tree, though.
It looks good. He's out in the open. Goes for the shot. And
Nice!
gets him behind the tree. And Falcons, the Orc, with home field advantage, claims the win.
And what an unbelievable finish to the start of this event. I still can't believe